Hello and welcome back to the next episode of My Simple Money. My name is James and I have been a financial advisor for over 20 years. I work in the personal finance section and this show is aimed at simplifying finances for you. Last week we talked all about mortgages and this week we're doing insurance, which I know lots of you have heard that word insurance and you've all been on the comparison sites, but we thought we'd bring in an expert. So I'm joined today by Mark Jones from AMB Insurance. Mark, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. Mark, you've been, well, first of all, why are you qualified to talk about this? What do you do? How do you do it? How long have you been doing it?
So, no one takes a career in insurance, they fall into it.
Right.
And I was asked to go work for Andy Barrow, Mr. A&B, when I was 16. He rang my dad and said, this boy can talk, would he like a job? So I went to work in a high street, typical, high street brokerage with a counter. I started off in Stone, and that was in 2003.
So a fair while ago.
Yeah, roll forward, then took a sabbatical and went to work for Mercer Jones, it was just down the road from me. More of a commercial broker, but again high street, and then spent a couple of years in a call centre, and then I'm pleased Andy asked me to go back, and I've been back to A&B now, it's my 13th year back. So a variety of different channels of insurance, from call centre, high street, commercial, and I've loved every minute of it.
Brilliant. Well, I appreciate you giving us some time today. I'm going to open up with what might seem like an obvious question, but what is insurance?
It's a very straightforward answer, but I think part of our job as brokers is to add clarity and a little bit of simplicity to what they're buying.
Yeah.
Insurance is the transfer of risk from consumer or from the buyer to the insurance company. They are taking on that financial risk that you pay your premium for.
Okay.
So you pay a fair rated premium for what it is you're trying to insure, car, home, so on, and the insurer promises to pay, subject to the presentation being correct, the claim, the unforeseen happens.
So you mentioned car, home, whatever. Just off topic slightly, is there anything you can't insure? Or rather, actually,
I don't want to answer that.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever insured?
We've been asked to insure some really weird things. Events is normally the one.
Okay.
You only get like a random event, you think, oh crikey, how do you wear it? But it goes back to the basic principles of if it's an event, there's a risk of people, liability, perils, fire, flood, cancellation. These are all things that happen day to day. I think the best example to give you is we get asked to insure the weird and wonderful when something that crops up, and it's normally a financial consideration. So they've borrowed something against an asset, or they're looking at developing something, so there's a build cost behind it. It is really as a financial protection safety net.
Stops you losing your money if something goes wrong. Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. I think, let's not use this word COVID and elaborate on it, but that was an unforeseen event that no one could have predicted. But you can insure against some events that you can predict. So, you know what I mean? So,
I guess for most people listening, the most typical insurance they have would be your car and your home?
Home and car, yeah. And typically for me, where I've moved to now is business insurance, but property as a subject is quite straightforward, and I think when you think it's probably one of your biggest investments you will do in your lifetime, people spend more time booking a holiday than they would buying an insurance policy, because it's holidays, luxury, you look excited, you've got a good feel about it. Insurance is considered a frustration purchase, and it's a bill, and there's not really much understanding about it, but our role as brokers and people in our industry love to talk about it. We want to make sure there's a positive understanding of what you buy for.
In my role as a financial advisor, one of the areas that I specialise in is life insurance and income protection and critical illness, and you raise these subjects with people, and it's a premium might be just a few pounds. They go, I don't want to pay it, but they'll go to Starbucks and spend double that at the Starbucks drive-through, and you get a sorry, other coffee chains are available, but you get a hot drink that lasts 10 minutes. But actually, what happens if you become ill and you can't work? Or what happens if somebody bumps into your car? Somebody drove into the back of my car the other week. It's been in the garage for 4 weeks now. I was heartbroken, but it hasn't cost me a penny because the insurance company have done everything for me. So I guess that's your point about it takes the risk away from me and puts it onto them. So I guess the question is, what can go wrong if you don't have it? Like,
there's so many different answers to this, but keep it nice and simple. Is underinsurance is a massive issue at the moment.
Underinsurance. Is that different to being not insured?
It's incorrect insurance, underinsurance. So the way I would probably simplify it is if insurance for dummies, you don't know what you're doing, and you go on the internet and you just plug a load of answers in that you believe is the best of your presentation, but you've missed one particular section off. It could be calculating the reinstatement of your property, which is different to the market value of a property. These are some basic definitions of what insurers want to know and what they're insuring, because you're going to pay that premium for them, take on that risk. But then it goes wrong, and then this is where I think the frustration comes into it, is the policy is designed to work a certain way.
Yeah.
And it is designed to reinstate or recover the financial cost of whatever's gone wrong. Put you back to where you were. That's indemnity. Put you back where you were before things went wrong. So, financial position, as to say. So, just on that subject, is if you go to your friend down the road who's a builder and say, how much would it cost to rebuild my property? And he says, 200 grand, I'll do that for you. It's not really a qualified answer, but it's possible that they could rebuild it for that point. But a lot of things need to be considered in that insured amount that you're paying an insurance company for, and that's removal of debris removal, site clearance, professional fees. It's them considerations. Whereas,
is that stuff in the small print? Can we find that stuff out?
Yeah, it's in the policy wording, but who goes to page 58 of the policy wording every time they go on an aggregator site and there's 7 options? Yeah. It's a job of somebody to, if you are unsure or if you are not comfortable in what you're buying before you do it, ask.
So you've just mentioned these aggregator sites. You've got the big comparison sites, basically, the ones that are really famous with certain, zoo animals, talking in Russian accents. Is there a place for them, or are they helpful, or are they unhelpful? What about, our listeners listening? They might be in their car now, they're driving, they know their renewal is up.
Yeah.
Do they call you? Do they go online? Do they speak to their friend down the pub? What, are these sites any good, and would you recommend them?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. They serve a place in the insurance market. Insurance market's massive. It's not just what you see on the TV. Our brokerage has grown by referrals and recommendations of experiences of existing customers. So it's completely different to an animal that speaks in a Russian accent. So, and also singing people with big curly moustaches, which we'll never do. But it serves a purpose because it's speed. You get a variety of choices. It's a price comparison. You can add things on, but as long as you read and know what you're buying, then you've got confidence in your purchase. If you're still thinking, I think it's right, but I don't know, they all have helpline numbers. You can still speak to them, but who actually takes the time to go and do that? It's choice says buy now. It's never ring now. And that's the bit where I think, well, if you've got an item of jewelry, you've just got engaged and you've got this lovely £3,000 ring to sort of ensure, have you read the small print of the article? They're the kind of things, and it's the moments where we see where customers will say, but I spend 6 months of my time in Spain. And they don't read the unoccupancy small print. I was going to say,
I have house insurance on my house, and when we bought our house, we had it was the right state, so we had to renovate it, and it took about 3 months, and we're 2.5 months in, and I found a leak. So and it wrecked the ceiling to the kitchen. I called my insurance company and said, I need to make a claim and they said, how long have you been out of the house for? So, about 2.5 months. And they said, you've not been in that property for at least 30 days. Not only did they not pay, they cancelled my insurance policy. Yeah. So there I was with a house and a leak and no insurance, and it was terrifying.
And you were frustrated.
And I was really frustrated because I just wasn't aware. So what are some of the common traps that people, when they're taking out their insurance, can avoid? There must be a few things that people are doing that they can get caught out on. What would you say those are?
For me, it's that not every insurance policy is designed to do the same thing. So what you're talking about there is, it's a property really undergoing renovation, but it's unoccupied. So it's the management of how you're checking, is the water off? Is it up to over winter time? Is it a certain temperature? These are policy conditions, but they're also, just by experience, things that I would be able to sort of say, well, I know that these risks could go wrong by the property going through some changes or not being in a standard state. Assumptions is one of the hardest things, and most of the stuff that gets referred to me as where they've had an unpleasant experience with another insurer because of these matters. They've believed that they've bought the right policy they've paid the premiums, they've done the quotes, they've technically not really done anything wrong deliberately, but accidentally they've underinsured or missed something, or it's the wrong product for them.
We've heard those the rumours and the stories that insurance companies never want to pay out. They never want to pay. They'll do everything they can to. Yeah. Is that true? Are they all like that? Is it really us against them?
No, it's. I think again where I'm at now with being a chartered insurance broker, it's your reputation, it's your professionalism. We've got some fantastic brokers in our team where they want to advise. They don't want to quote and sell. It's a myth. So insurance companies definitely want to pay out, but it starts with that presentation's got to be correct. There's an agreement when we sit down. You might have heard the words, but demands and needs. What do you want? Can we meet the demands and needs? Have we explained the conditions? Things like high sums insured for security. How you manage? What have you got on your house? Locks, bolts, all the rest of it. But it's them. They're the details. They're the conversation pieces. And what it does is creates a mindset to say, people with high net worths and they've got paintings, collections, all these wonderful things that a standard policy we know won't cover.
But I think it's, for me, with insurance as well, you talk about high net worth individuals. Some of those people will have cash to replace. But I think for me, insurance is really important for those people who don't have the cash to replace.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine, so like I say, somebody drove into my car. I don't have that much money sat in my bank account that I should go and buy a brand new car. And so that insurance was invaluable for me in that. I've got a couple more questions.
Sure.
We see this online all the time, and I've worked in finance, so I should probably know the answer, and I'm really hoping you do. I'm sure you do. What is de facto? When they say de facto 5-star rating, what is that?
So it's it really depends on what benefits a policy is going to give and whether them benefits are a bit more expansive, like unlimited or restrictive. So Pete, my colleague, when we were talking about this, actually, his words was like, you might get escape of water for what you're referring to just of your property.
Yeah.
You'll have an escape of water limit within your policy. Normally it's capped because they don't want to pay large amounts of it because you've got to manage it.
Yeah.
Because they know it's a high exposure. If that goes wrong, costs are high. So they want you to manage it yourself and say, I will turn the water off, I will do this. A sub limit of, say, £1,000 is not a great limit. But if you go to a policy where it's got like unlimited escape of water, your de facto rating will be higher because that policy's got better benefits.
Yeah. So you
something with
the customer.
Exactly, yeah. So it's on occupancy clauses, whether it's 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, whatever. I guess that's a way then that someone, a very quick glance, can know if it's 1-star de facto rating. They go, well, it's insurance. It's going to be restrictive.
But it's going to be restrictive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So what are your top tips then? So the people listening out there, they go, right, my home insurance, my car insurance is new, is whatever it is, my travel insurance. What's your top tips for somebody when they need to get insurance?
So the broker in me says, if it's cheap, there's something missing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And that's just,
it's cheap for a reason.
Yeah, it's cheap for a reason. You get what you pay for, as a cliche, but it's true.
So don't go on price, I guess.
Yeah, and I would always think is if you are unsure what you need, this is the difference between what you want. So if you're unsure what you need, then the broker's job and insurance company's job is to make sure they tailor a policy to your demands and needs, and we've discussed all these eventualities that we think, to the best of our knowledge, is going to be covered. If you insure it yourself and think, I don't want to insure that, still might be on the wrong basis. You can't assume. The policy might be telling you to insure things for what it actually is.
Got you.
You can't restrict it. You can't restrict on, like a financial protection like that.
Brilliant. Mate, that is really, really helpful. So you work at AMB Insurance, really well-known brokerage in the town. People can look you up if they want to get more help. You can always DM us on our socials, on Instagram. It's My Simple Money. And reach out to us if you've got any questions or any suggestions for future shows. And we'll speak to you again next week. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.